Hey, so it's later on in the day. It's the same day as the debate with Owen MacDonald. I wanted to talk about that. Um, so, Owen and I have fundamental disagreements at an axiomatic level. Our axioms are just different. And that's where pretty much everything stems from. His axiom is that the left is the destruction, deconstruction of hierarchy, and that true leftism is the absence of hierarchy. My axioms are more broad than that. I believe leftism can be many things, and has been many things. Now, you could say that, and it's very easy to try to accuse Owen of being dishonest in his adherence to his axioms. However, if I accuse him of dishonesty, I did the same thing. He adhered to his axioms, I adhered to my axioms. If I accuse him of dishonesty, the same standards would apply to me. I would then be accused of dishonesty. So I don't believe that he's being dishonest when he's adhering to his axioms. He's just sticking to what he knows, what he believes. And I did the same. Now, as for his brand of egalitarianism, I didn't ask him about how he personally thinks to achieve egalitarianism. I didn't. I forgot to ask him that. So we didn't have a discussion about that. We could have a discussion about that if we discuss again in the future. So one thing that I would like to point out is that the strict definition of an egalitarian society, one without hierarchy, has never existed in recorded history. It is debatable as to whether it has existed in prehistory. So the and I have entertained the thought that it could have existed in prehistory. If you read my paper, Instinctual Man, Ethnos and Spirituality, in that article I do discuss prehistory, and I do entertain the idea that prehistorical societies could have been egalitarian, that is, lacking hierarchy. But even I admit that I may be mistaken. The claim that these prehistorical societies were egalitarian comes from a lack of evidence of hierarchy. Now, as you are aware, a lack of evidence does not equate to evidence of lack. So, while it could be the case that these were egalitarian societies, it could also be the case that they were hierarchical. We just don't have enough information at this time, and there may, in fact, be no way to gather that information. As far as fascism goes, we did discuss fascism quite extensively. Again, this comes back down to a difference in axioms. His axioms are much more particular than mine, and mine are actually a little bit more populistic, I would say, appealing to a broad spectrum of the population. And during the segment on fascism, I mentioned some books, some authors. I have not actually read those authors. I know what you're thinking. This is the opposite of what I said before about you need to read people and not just listen to what people say about them. But These authors have been on my wish list for some time now. Multiple of their books, multiple of each. They were Zeev Sternhell and Roger Griffin. Multiple of both of them are on my wish list. And the reason I feel confident in recommending them is because, first off, I've seen reviews of their books, multiple reviews. I have also heard them speak, or in the case of Zeev Sternhell, I have heard his daughter speak. And I have seen other people cite these sources. So I'm somewhat familiar with the content. And as far as the quality goes, I am assured of the quality. And the fact that these are on my wish list is just, that should give you my mark of approval. Now, the other books that I mentioned, a lot of the other books that I mentioned, I have read. It's been a while since I've read The Closing of the American Mind, but I actually have been wanting to reread it for some time now. The Mind and the Brain, that has just stuck with me for a couple of years now. And The Red Queen, I literally read that last year, so it's still fresh in my mind. I believe I did a good job of explaining Hegel, although I really feel I'm not very confident in my speaking abilities, so. And that actually brings me to another point. Someone in the comments, someone in the live chat accused me of using AI. First off, I only have two devices. I have my phone, which I was recording with. I was streaming with my phone. And I have this laptop that I am currently recording on. I do not have Wi-Fi where I am. So, right now I am offline. I have to go elsewhere to upload this video. So I was not using AI. And the thing is, I really think I suck at speaking. I think I suck at speaking. I have bad rhetoric. I stumble over my words. I word things poorly. So the fact that someone thought I was using AI to give me a script is actually pretty entertaining. I think it's kind of like a compliment, honestly. But I would say, like, with as bad at speaking as I am, do you really believe I'm using AI? Don't you think that if I was using AI, I would be a little bit better at speaking? Yeah, so that there's that. One other thing, I believe I was on stream when I showed this book, The Essence of Chaos. I got this book for my birthday, which was just on Wednesday. And I brought it up because I wanted to make a point about that, but we never got into policy discussion, so it never really came up again. But the point that I wanted to make about chaos theory is that human behavior and human societies are nonlinear in the mathematical sense. You cannot predict human behavior using linear equations. You have to use nonlinear equations to predict it, and even then you really can't, because one thing different changes the entire outcome. And this goes with policy, because any policy that you choose to enact will have a wildly different outcome. You can't predict exactly what outcome it will have, not necessarily. Now, in some cases you can. For example, if I support removing gun laws, I can predict that the homicide rate will go down. I can predict this because this has happened before, but I can also predict that the number of gun deaths will go up. Now, a lot of people like to conflate the two, but those are two different things. I am a libertarian. I do support removing gun laws. So that's a prime example. Anyway, Owen and I were at the end talking about maybe streaming again sometime and having a more philosophically oriented discussion, maybe discussing consciousness, maybe discussing idealism versus materialism. I don't know if he's an idealist or a materialist. I don't know if what his views on consciousness are. And those things aren't as emotionally charged as political topics, so I think they would be easier to discuss, easier to come to an agreement on, and more fun. More fun, yeah. I did not ask him what he majors in. He's a college student. I didn't ask him what he's majoring in, which I am actually interested to know what he's majoring in. I know he's read Dubois, W.E.B. Dubois, because he mentioned that in one of his live streams, the live stream that I watched from him. And another thing that I just wanted to talk about is Carl Schmitt. Because Carl Schmitt described the essence of politics, and the essence of politics is the friend-enemy distinction. Carl Schmitt was not prescribing anything, he was describing. If you engage in politics, you are inherently going to come across the friend-enemy distinction. You are going to come across people who view you as an enemy, and you are going to view people who view you as a friend. And you yourself may behave in that sort of manner. Now, with Owen, he and I disagree, but he did not. I did not get the sense that he views me as an enemy. So it was nice to be free from this friend-enemy distinction for a change. And I certainly don't view him as an enemy. I think he's an honest guy. I think he's intelligent. I think I really think we just have different points of view, different axioms that influence our worldviews. That's about all. Thank you for watching. Peace.